All right, I'm coming. I'm here. I'm here. Give me just a moment. I'll be with you in just a moment. Just a moment. All right, we're here. We're clear. Get used to it. We're ready. Yeah, yeah. How y'all doing out there today? How are y'all doing? What is going on? Let me get my computer. Y'all are setting this up too fast, too soon, and I wasn't even ready. And y'all are sitting here waiting for me and my stinking ass ain't even ready. Ah, here we go. Bam, bam, boom. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. What's going on, people? What's going on? I need to get my water because I need to drink some water. Take one more good piece of medicine for this good bug that got a hold of me. Anyway, I go get my water from over there. What is good? Listen, it's so much going on, y'all. It is so much going on politically. I don't even know if I'm gonna fit it all in. Y'all know we got to be out of here by 6:30 before really B comes on. So we got from now until 6:30 to get in all that we got to get in. Then we're gonna get up out of here and swing it on over to really be. Hey, Diamond Pearl Jim. Hey, Yana. Hey, Volvo. Listen, y'all. Whew, that's why they make it so hard to take some of these pills out. Lord, that's like pulling teeth to get that out of there. Let me go get some water, y'all, and I will be right back, and we will get started. Chicken, get your chicken here. Chicken, get your chicken here. Yeah. Mm, mm. So, boy. So yes, y'all, we got a lot to talk about. Y'all see what the country has been, engulfed in over the last 48 hours. And dear God, I know it's people. Is Mother still alive? I think Mother is still alive. I think there's some people probably over there, and that's fine. We gonna do what we do. We already had this schedule even before Mother went live, so we just gonna do what we doing. It is what it is. Um, so Anyway, I let's talk about some stuff, y'all. Let's talk about some stuff. So, listen. So we are going to spend a good portion of our day today talking about um the shooting that happened in Uvalde, Texas. There's a lot that's been going on in the aftermath of that. And so we want to do our due diligence with that. Before I get to that, though, I want to talk about some other things that have also come across my desk. Mm, mm. Because people are showing us who they are. I don't know why we're surprised. And go ahead, get you some sweet now, because this is gonna go way left. If you were triggered by people doing the wrong thing and saying the wrong things in the wake of horrible atrocities happening to children, then you are going to be triggered. I'm just telling you now. I mean, because we live in a horrible country. So this is happening. This water is so good. Anyway, so mm, oh, okay. That's telling me about my hotel stay tomorrow. I know I have a hotel stay tomorrow. I know. All right. So let me start here and then we'll go to another story and then we'll hit on the Texas shooting. So I wanted to talk about, hey Tracy, I wanted to talk about this on Tuesday. I didn't get a chance to because I was running late on time on Run Your Mouth, so I saved it for today. So there's a Supreme Court ruling that has come out, and it's not good at all. Hey Yana, child, turtle brownies and my smoke and a good old child. Get on, go ahead and get it together, Yana, get it together, honey. So here's what happening. Here's what happened. Okay, there was a Supreme Court ruling that came down on Monday. Okay, let me read this article for you. It says legal experts responded with alarm Monday to a ruling from the United States Supreme Court's right wing majority that could lead to the indefinite imprisonment and even execution of people who argue their lawyers didn't provide adequate representation after convictions in state court. Now, this is going to get really swept under the rug because of everything that's going on right now in this country. But and we're going to touch on the other stuff that's going on in this country. But this right here is really, 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 really horrific in terms of criminal justice and so forth. Hey, it's me, Dean. Um, your Butch Queen, huh? We ain't even got to the kids yet. Um, we'll get there later to the Texas stuff. This is some other stuff that we need to talk about. So let me read that first paragraph of the article again, so that I can say it again for the people in the back, and so that you can really hear what's going on. Let me read that again. Legal experts responded with alarm Monday to a ruling from the United States Supreme Court's right wing majority that could lead to the indefinite imprisonment and even execution of people who argue their lawyers didn't provide adequate representation after convictions in state court. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, joined by the other two liberals on the court, also blasted the majority opinion in Shin versus Martinez Ramirez, writing in her scathing dissent that the decision is both perverse and illogical. The case involves two men, David Martinez Ramirez and Barry Lee Jones, who are on death row in Arizona. The majority determined that inmates can't present new evidence in federal court to support a claim that their post-conviction attorney in state court was ineffective, in violation of the Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution, which affirms the right to, quote, the assistance of counsel in all, end quote, in all criminal matters. A federal habeas court may not conduct an evidentiary hearing or otherwise consider evidence beyond the state court record based on ineffective assistance of state post-conviction counsel, end quote. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote for the majority, adding that, quote, serial relitigation of final convictions undermines the finality that is essential to both the, retrib- the retributive and deterrent functions of criminal law, end quote. Sotomayor, meanwhile, wrote that, quote, the Sixth Amendment guarantees criminal defendants the right to the effective assistance of counsel at trial. This court has recognized that right as a, quote, bedrock principle, end quote, that constitutes the very foundation of our adversary system of criminal justice. Today, however, the court hamstrings the federal court's authority to safeguard that right. The court's decision will leave many people who were convicted in violation of the Sixth Amendment to face incarceration or even execution without any meaningful chance to vindicate their right to counsel. She warned, also noting that the ruling, quote, all but overrules two recent precedents, Martinez versus Ryan and Trevino versus Thaler. In a piece for Slate highlighting the ruling, it was stated this will cause profound suffering and perhaps even death as people are denied their constitutional rights. And that was from University of Michigan law professor Leah Littman, who declared that the majority, quote, took a wrecking ball to those decisions. It goes on and on and on, and I will tell you I got this from commondreams.com, but here's what we have going on. What we have going on is they're saying once you get to federal court, you're not allowed to introduce any new evidence at all that would show or prove that you had ineffective counsel at the state court level. Now, we all know that when many people go to court or they get convicted of they get charged with a crime, and you sometimes get some public defenders that, you know, do the very best they can, but many of them are very overworked and underpaid and just don't have the time to put into a case as a private defense attorney would. And so therefore, a lot of times there's evidence and things like that that's missed and not introduced to the fortune of the prosecution and the prosecutors. And a lot of times there are states, even when you have the prosecutors and the state attorney's office and the public defenders that are working hand in hand in tandem, saying, hey, y'all make sure y'all don't put too much evidence out there. We gonna do what we got, and then we'll get a conviction, and we all gonna wipe each other's hands, and we gonna be good. And there's so many cases that we've seen. I mean, literally thousands and thousands of cases that we've seen over the years where people have not had all of the right evidence put in. They haven't had their cases argued correctly. And what ends up happening is those people get thrown in jail. They get convicted, put in jail, sentenced to life, sentenced to executions. And it's not until maybe in the appellate system or as it goes to the federal level where people start to get new evidence that's able to rightfully be introduced into a court of law, and they will then get acquitted of said crimes or get convictions overturned, I should say, not acquitted, but get their convictions overturned. And so what this is saying is that now they're no longer on the federal level. If you go to the appellate court on the and start to make it to the federal ranks, you no longer are allowed to present any new evidence that was not presented on the state court level, which is this is there's not going to be a whole lot of fanfare about this, but this is a game changer for people who are doing everything they can to keep black people in prison. Let's be very clear, because as I explained to you earlier, there's a lot of legal malpractice that goes on at the state court levels that gets people on the death row, that gets people life in prison, that has causes improper executions and all types of things, and people lose their entire lives based on false or legal malpractice, people not introducing enough evidence or not the right evidence. And so for the Supreme Court to put out a ruling saying that you could no longer introduce any new evidence into any case once it hits the federal level that was not introduced on the state level, that is a problem. That means absolutely that thousands, and we see it over and over and over again, thousands upon thousands of people that were wrongfully convicted and so forth will never really have their true day in court, because you're saying, okay, so whatever was presented on at the time on the state level, that's all you get. And that was the Supreme Court about. They don't say it was a 6-3 ruling. I'm looking at the article to see what the ruling was. It sounds like it was a 6-3 ruling, because the article goes on to say that Justice Sotomayor was joined by her two liberal judges, so that sounds like a 6-3 ruling. But this is a sad time for criminal justice. So when we're talking about the penal system and the judiciary and those things that we know that is and should be right about criminal justice in this country, there's not a I don't believe in my lifetime that there's an ice cube's chance in hell at real and true criminal justice in this country, and that's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. And now we have people. We don't. It could be us for all we know. We are listen. There are so many people so wrongfully convicted. We have so many people that were arrested because they fit the bill and fit the description of another black person, because they seem to think black people all look alike. This could have detrimental rippling effects in criminal justice like very few things have, but you're not going to hear about it. It's and once again, we got people that's supposed to be on our side, on the left side, that's going to be silent about it. Mum's the word. A mess. A mess. A complete and utter mess. This is not, and I'm not ranting and raving like I should be, but this is a threat level red situation. This is a threat level red situation. What this means is this Supreme Court ruling has ensured, like the title said, that there's going to be many, many, many more people that spend their lives on death row wrongfully or get wrongfully killed by states because of a ruling like this. Ridiculous. Absolutely, unequivocally, and totally ridiculous. I don't know when and how this will be fixed, because they're going against, as they said in the written dissent, they're going against already established precedent. And so this sitting Supreme Court is showing us they have no respect for precedent. They have no respect for what has been well established legal ideology, constitutional law, and precedent. So what they're saying is everything's on the table. You got a case that aligns with their ideology and it comes before them, they could give two shits about whether or not it's already been ruled on by the Supreme Court. We have a problem here, people. We have a real problem. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. I saw that on Tuesday and I meant to bring it up, but we got kind of long. We went kind of long and we didn't have a chance to get to it. And so I didn't get the chance to get to it on Tuesday, but I wanted to make sure I hit it up today on the politics of it all. If you can't understand what the problem is with that, um, then I just don't know. So, um, so my next thing, and all of I got one more article, and then everything else is Texas. So, because back in the background, meanwhile, back in the range, we still have a situation that happened 12 days ago in the city of Buffalo. And I told you all that nothing was going to get done. The Asians got themselves a hate crime bill, lickety split, lickety split. Before you could blink, oh, we got one for the Asians. Here we go. The blacks. Oh, y'all gunning them down? Oh, we don't have no time for that. No smoke. So here's what just came out today. After the racist massacre in Buffalo, the United States Senate Republican Party has decided it's a good idea to block the domestic terrorism bill. Less than 2 weeks after a white supremacist gunned down 10 black people at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, Senate Republicans on Thursday blocked the legislation aimed at combating domestic terrorism in the United States, specifically the growing threat posed by neo-Nazis and white nationalists. The final vote on the House passed legislation was 47 to 47, with every Senate Republican in attendance voting no. At least 60 yes votes were needed to overcome the filibuster and advance to a final vote on the bill. Excuse me. Every Senate Democrat who cast a vote supported the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act, which proposed ensuring that federal agencies have the resources needed to detect and prevent, quote, acts of domestic terrorism and white supremacist and neo-Nazi affiliate infiltration of law enforcement and corrections agencies, end quote. Last year, the head of the FBI, an agency that has long been criticized for ignoring rising white supremacist violence, told Congress that white supremacists comprise, quote, the biggest chunk of our domestic terrorism portfolio overall and have been responsible for the most lethal attacks over the last decade, end quote. Representative Bill Pascrell, Democrat of New Jersey, called out his Republican colleagues in the Senate over their unified opposition to the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act, saying in a tweet, every single McConnell Republican senator just voted to block our bill to fight domestic terrorism. If you're wondering why, read below. In 2021, right-wing domestic terrorists committed 90% of extremism-tied murders. In 2020, it was 94%. In 2019, it was 88%. In 2018, it was 98%. Notice a pattern. In a floor speech early Thursday, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, framed the procedural vote as an opportunity to, quote, have a larger debate and consider amendments to gun safety legislation in general, not for those motivated by racism in the wake of the elementary school massacre in Uvalde, Texas earlier this week. There are a lot of MAGA Republicans for whom no amount of gun violence, whether it's domestic terrorism, a school shooting, a neighborhood shooting, or something else, will ever convince them to take any action. So if Republicans obstruct debate today, we are prepared to have an honest and realistic discussion, conversation, and negotiation for a little more time to see what they can come to the table with. I'm so sick of these people. I'm so sick of them. I am so sick of them. So listen, why are y'all continuing to play nice with people who don't play nicely? Chuck Schumer, I don't care about your ceremonial votes. I don't care. You and these, oh, we're gonna have a vote and make it ceremonious just so they can put their name on it. We can know what they don't intend to plan enough for it. We know this. We don't need them to put a name on this. We don't need them to put a name on this. We already know how they feel. We know where they are on this. We know their position on this. We know it's not going to change. You having these ceremonial votes is pouring uh pissing on my leg and telling me it's rain. You're fucking with us, Chuck Schumer. You and your Democratic colleagues over there in the Senate are fucking with us, and we don't have this type of energy. People are dying. People are dying. Hell, y'all almost died in the Senate chamber in a year and a half ago. Where are we on that? Hell, Senator Scalise got shot. Scalise got shot. Remember they had the softball game where he got shot? Remember that? But they still want to know parts of any ending any of it. They don't care if their own people get shot. They don't care if your people get shot. They don't care about none of that. All they care about is, oh, are they lining my pockets? Okay, that's all I need. It's a mess. It's a mess out here. It's a whole mess out here. It's so the first horrible thing, the first horrible thing that I saw today was the husband of one of the teachers that got shot and killed during this massacre had a heart attack and died today from grief. And I'm not making this up. This is not a hyperbole. He literally had the husband of one of the school teachers that lost her life on Tuesday due to the grief of what he is dealing with, had a heart attack and died today. I'm not making this up. The man, so stricken with grief at the death of his wife, who died protecting children, had a heart attack and died today. But this what y'all got going on. But we over here playing around. Let me give you some more information that is just phenomenally disgusting. Well, here's the latest news on what we know. Okay, The latest news that I got was, hey, Tabitha, right, Yana, hey, Darren, I didn't even see you sneak up in here, Darren. The man had a heart attack and died. He was so grief stricken. The husband of that teacher who lost her life. So, from what I gathered earlier, is that the Texas officials say all victims have been identified in the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, and families notified. However, there's still a 10-year-old girl in serious condition, two 9-year-old, two 9-year-olds, and a 10-year-old. Hold on, let me back that up. There's a two 9-year-olds and a 10-year-old in good condition. A 66-year-old woman, and that's the shooter's grandmother, who's still in serious condition. So you still have 4 children that are still battling for their lives. I told y'all that they had to ask parents what their children were wearing in order to make a positive identification. And even then, in some cases, they had to take still DNA samples from the parents in order to make positive identifications of these children. Law enforcement officials are currently coming under heavy scrutiny on today over their response to Tuesday's massacre at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, where 19 students and 2 educators were killed by a lone gunman in the country's deadliest school shooting in almost a decade. At a press conference where reporters hurled questions about whether police had waited too long to enter Robb Elementary School amid the violence, an official on camera said law enforcement had not yet verified if witnesses were urging the police to move in and discussing entering the school themselves. Let me repeat that for you all again. Okay? Let me repeat that for you all again. I don't know where my mods are. Where are my mods when I need them? Because I think I see a troller too. Where are my freaking mods when I need them? Dear God. Anyway, let me take care of the troll. I thought I had a mod in the sky or something. I guess I don't. I thought Really B was here, but let me take care of the troll. All right. I think I had another troll earlier. I just didn't like that he was off topic, so you'll get blocked. All right, there we go. All right. So let me finish reading this. So let me read that again for you all. At a press conference where reporters hurled questions about whether police had waited too long to enter Robb Elementary School amid violence, an official on camera said law enforcement had not yet verified if witnesses were urging the police to move in and discussing entering the school themselves, meaning instead of going inside, because the whole argument is, oh, the best way to fight a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But you have the freaking good guys with a gun sitting on the sidelines, pussyfooting around, trying to figure out if they should go in and apprehend said bad guy with a gun. And on witnesses were screaming at them, telling them that they should go in and help the children. Quote, we have not verified if that's a true statement or not, whether it's a rumor It's just rumor out there, end quote, said Victor Escalon, a regional director of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Quote, you've got to understand we're getting a lot of information. We're trying to track down and see what is true. We want to vet it, end quote. Authorities have previously said that a law enforcement officer confronted the gunman before he entered the school, but Escalon said the shooter entered the building unobstructed. So you see what we got going on here, right? You see nothing that Governor Hot Wheels and his band of merry thugs are telling you could really be true. They'll tell you anything to appease you and to make it seem like they're right for having their guns and they're right for how they handle this situation. It's the lying, the complete lying. You're lying in the face of a community that is grieving. You're lying to people around the country that are afraid to send their children to school to try and prop yourselves up and make yourselves look better because you got the fucking wild, wild west going on over there in fucking Texas. Texas Governor Hot Wheels, Abbott, on Wednesday had praised the law enforcers who arrived on the scene, saying the death toll would have been much higher, but for the quote amazing courage end quote of the first responders. You mean the same first responders that didn't even bother to try and stop the man, didn't even bother to go in there until they were screamed at by people waiting on, that were witnesses to this crime. So much so that some of the people that were witnesses were saying, if y'all ain't gonna go in, we're gonna go in because there are children in there. Yet videos have since surfaced showing distraught family members outside the school screaming at heavily armed officers to engage the shooter and even attempting to rush into the school themselves while the officers blocked their approach. And local news reporters have since emerged featuring some of those family members accusing the police of doing too little, too late to stop the carnage. This is what y'all got going on. The Associated Press reported that the father of a fourth grader who was killed in the shooting said police officers were still outside the school when he arrived on the scene. He proposed that he and the other bystanders tried to enter the school because the officers were not. The police, he said, were quote unprepared, end quote. Quote, let's just rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they are supposed to, end quote, said Javier Casares, according to the AP. Casares' daughter, Jacqueline Casares, was among the students killed in the attack, the Newswire reported. He also said more could have been done. They were unprepared. The Uvalde Police Department published a press release Thursday signed by the police chief Daniel Rodriguez saying officers responded to the attack, quote, within minutes, end quote. He said the Texas Ranger Division is leading the ongoing investigation into the events. Rodriguez also went on to say, I know answers will not come fast enough during this trying time, but rest assured that with the completion of the full investigation, I will be able to answer all the questions that we can, end quote. The controversy arrived less than 48 hours after a lone gunman identified as, I'm not going to mention his name, entered Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, and it talks about the shooting. Um, that's what y'all got going on. There's even conflicting reports, and I'm telling you, this part that I'm going to say is conflicting and maybe rumor. There's even conflicting reports that say that some of the officers said that they only went in there because their own children were in there and they were going in there to save their children, not save all of the children, their own individual children. There's conflicting reports out there about that. The victims that the gunman shot were in the class in the classroom where he barricaded. Law enforcement officials initially said officers shot and killed the gunman about 40 minutes to an hour after he entered the school. But a Texas Department of Public Safety spokesman said Thursday that officials were still working to clarify the timeline of the shooting. So it could have been much longer than that. But they said, but you got Governor Hot Wheels and his band of merry thugs saying, oh, we were there in minutes. 40 minutes doesn't qualify as minutes. I mean, it is a number of minutes, but it doesn't qualify as, the colloquial, phrase when we say in minutes. This is what we got going on. But they would lead you to believe, oh, that they did the best they can, and we need more guns out there. For what? So y'all can just hold them in your hands and look pretty with them and do nothing with it? A mess. A damn mess. A, all of it, quote, all of it I understand lasted about an hour. But this is where there's kind of a 30-minute lull. This is what Gonzalez said. They feel as if they've got him barricaded in. The rest of the students in the school are now leaving. That's what he said at the time. It's just a whole, complete, and utter fucking mess. A mess. A mess. People are obviously and appropriately incensed about this, and Twitter has exploded with the hashtag Ted Cruz fuck you, because people are so incensed by him and his level brand of fuckery. Fred Gutenberg, whose daughter Jamie was killed in the 2018 Marjorie Stoneman Douglas high school shooting in Parkland, Florida, was among those who refused to hide his fury at the right-wing lawmakers. That's Ted Rafael Cruz, lawmaker whose allegiance to the powerful gun lobby has allowed mass killings like the one in Uvalde, Texas on Tuesday to continue. On Twitter Wednesday, Gutenberg rallied against Senator Ted Cruz, who took $300,000 in donations from the gun lobbyists during the last Senate race. After the senator said he was, quote, fervently lifting up in prayer the victims of the shooting. He went on to say, quote, in a tweet, I sat with you 3 years ago. I begged you to have a different response to gun violence. You went forward from there and continued to mock people like me. Ted Cruz, fuck you. This is on your hands. Don't put out messages like this. Walk to Christopher Murphy of Connecticut and do something now. That's what Fred Gutenberg tweeted to Fred Cruz. To which Ted Cruz replied in a tweet, Heidi and I are fervently lifting up in prayers the children and families in the horrific shooting in Uvalde. We are in close contact with local officials, but the precise details are still unfolding. Thank you for the heroic law enforcement and first responders for acting so swiftly. You mean in about an hour that's acting swiftly? A mess. Let you have an ounce of weed hiding in your house, and they don't care. They don't give a shit about barricades. They are busting through your door. Okay. Let you be a young black man wrapped in his blanket on a friend's couch sleeping and not having any knowledge of what's going on, and they'll come right in, barricade or none, and shoot you to death. But the guy who's killing 9 and 10-year-olds in a horrific massacre, they have no smoke for him. None. Here's some other tweets that came out yesterday. Kirsten Sinema tweeted out, "We are horrified and heartbroken by the senseless tragedy unfolding at Robb Elementary School in Texas and grateful to the first responders for acting quickly. No families should ever have to fear violence in their children's schools." However, a wonderful person replied to her, "Please just stop. Unless you're willing to break the filibuster to actually pass sensible gun control measures, you might as well just say thoughts and prayers." It's the fuck shit. The fuck shit that's going on. This is what we have going. Oh, but if you think it's going to get any better, oh no. Mm-mm. I got two stories that makes this even just richer, just much richer. So, Governor Hot Wheels and the great state of Texas decided that it would be a good idea to cut the monologue of Jimmy Kimmel last night, who was speaking on the shooting, and they decided, no, we don't want to hear no parts of what he's got to say and what he's got going on. We're just going to cut that from programming in the great state of Texas. Let me read this for you. Late night television host Jimmy Kimmel said his monologue was cut by a Dallas ABC affiliate channel following the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, that left 19 children and 2 adults dead. Quote, "To my friends in Dallas who are asking, I do not know whether our ABC affiliate, New York, our ABC network affiliate, WFAA, cut away from my monologue tonight intentionally or inadvertently, but I will find out," Kimmel said in a tweet with a link to his full monologue for those who did not get to see it. In the monologue, Kimmel called out the failure of lawmakers to take action on the issue indefensible. A, he went on to say a bipartisan bill passed in the House. It's been stalled in the Senate for over a year now. They won't pass it because our cowardly leaders just aren't listening to us. They're listening to the NRA. They're listening to those people who write them checks, who keep them in power. But that's why, but that's the way politics work. I say this tonight with hope, not with an expectation, but with the hope that people like Ted Cruz and Greg Abbott and John Cornyn, people who are elected by Texans, will actually listen to it instead of going right to gun control laws don't work and we need armed teachers and guards at schools. End quote. If your solution to children being massacred is armed guards, you haven't been paying attention to what's going on. We want limits on who can walk around with an AR-15, and it damn well shouldn't be a teenager who works at a fast food restaurant. If we can't agree on that, forget it. And he went on, and you can go see his monologue. But y'all see what's going on, right? Oh, you got something to say about it? What happened? You got something to say about what happened, Jimmy Kimmel? We don't care if you white it. We don't care if you white. Guess what? Get some of this. Bloop. Y'all won't be watching that tonight in the great city of Dallas, Texas. Oh, y'all thought y'all was gonna see that? Oh, y'all thought we were just gonna let him spew this anti gun rhetoric all into the atmosphere? No, we won't have no parts of that. We want no parts of people holding politicians accountable. Not in the year of our Lord 2022. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what y'all got going on. That's what y'all got going on. But wait, it gets better. Sound like one of those infomercial people. But wait, there's more. Oh, yes, there's more. Because y'all thought it couldn't get any worse. Well, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. The Supreme Court might very soon loosen gun laws in the wake of Texas shooting. Oh, yes. The Supreme Court's upcoming ruling on a New York law could open constitutional challenges to gun safety laws around the country. This is just getting just so much better. The tragic shootings in Buffalo and Texas have again raised the voices of many who want Congress to pass gun violence reform. Bipartisan talks around red flag legislation, allowing authorities to temporarily take guns away from people considered to be a threat to themselves or others, have picked up momentum. However, an upcoming Supreme Court opinion might loosen America's gun laws even more, as noted by CNN. Supreme Court justices are currently writing their opinions and dissents in reference to New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, which deals with a 108-year-old concealed carry law in New York. The law requires a resident to obtain a license to carry a concealed pistol or revolver and demonstrate that, quote, proper cause, end quote, exists for the permit, including showing they have a great need for the license and that they face a, quote, special or unique special or unique danger to their life, end quote. Only a handful of states around the country have a law on the books similar to New York. Everything depends on how broad the conservatives' court rules are in the upcoming case. The oral arguments, conservative with oral arguments, conservative Justice Samuel Alito framed the argument around law-abiding people riding subways who want to be able to carry a gun to protect themselves. End quote. This is getting dangerous, people. Justice Alito also went on to ask New York Solicitor General Barbara Underwood, quote, how is that how is that consistent with the core right to self-defense, which is protected by the Second Amendment? It goes on and on and on. But this is now sitting in front of an ultra conservative and right wing Supreme Court, many of whom, prior to them sitting on said Supreme Court, took millions of dollars from the NRA and other gun lobbyists, many of whom are backed by a Republican wing that wants no parts of any type of gun control. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, in the wake of more mass shootings in the last 10 years than in the entire history of this country, you could have gun laws loosened. Welcome to the Wild Wild West. I told y'all over a year ago, we're on the brink of civil war in this country, and people just don't want to acknowledge it. I told y'all this was not going to get any better. I warned you, if you needed to get you something to regulate your sugar levels, go ahead and do that. Because I knew this was going to get far worse before it gets better. Do y'all see what's going on here? Do y'all see what's going on here? I mean, it's like, let me give you a rudimentary metaphor for what's going on here. It would be like me saying, you know what? I want to raise a hive of killer bees in my backyard because I want to see what their honey tastes like. And I raised this farm of killer bees, this hive of killer bees in my backyard. And then my dog goes outside one day and starts barking, and that hive of killer bees attacks my dog, right? And my solution to that would be, well, next time when that hive of killer bees attacks the next dog I have, I'm gonna have 3 or 4 hives sitting around that hive of killer bees because those other hives are gonna attack that hive that tried to attack the dog. So yeah, that's my solution. Let me put more hives of killer bees in my backyard so that if one of the hives goes rogue and tries to attack my dog, I have the other 3 hives who are going to magically go and attack the killer bees, right? And then when that next hive attacks your hive of killer bees, and the other hives looking like, listen, that ain't my problem. We over here minding the business that pays us and making this good honey and attending to our queen. You say, oh, well, 4 or 5 hives wasn't enough. Maybe that's not the answer. You know what? I got to get 10 hives. Let me have 10 hives. I want it where you can't walk 5 square feet without running into a new hive. So that way I am ensured that the next pet I have, there's always going to be a hive that's willing to attack the hive that's trying to attack my pet. You see how asinine that sounds? That's how asinine what we got going on in this country sounds. You got other countries looking at us in our backyard with all of these hives of killer bees looking at us like, y'all are fucking loony. Like, y'all are fucking just insane. You're fucking morons. People around the globe are looking at us like, you people are some of the biggest idiots known to the history of the species. Where's my water? What do y'all expect to happen? This is a mess. Just a whole goddamn mess. A mess. But we still have people out here saying, oh, I'm not worried about voting. They don't care about us, so I'm not going to vote. And I'm just going to yeah, it's going to work itself out. This is getting dangerous, people. It's getting. Sorry about that. I don't know. I have no idea what the answer is, people. But what I do know is it's not going to stop. So just like I said, the lies that Governor Hot Wheels and his band of merry thugs are telling you at this point, don't believe anything coming out of believe nothing coming out of Austin, Texas from Governor Hot Wheels. Believe nothing. Believe nothing. They'll tell you anything to appease themselves. They're not even trying to appease us anymore. They're appeasing themselves. They're lying to themselves to tell themselves anything to justify the fuck shit that they're doing. I'm sorry, this show was this the politics of it all was all gloom and doom, but it's not a whole lot of good stuff to look forward to. I don't have a whole lot here. I don't have a whole lot else. Right, absolutely. This, contrary to the opinion of your former president, is the actual shithole country. We are actually living in the shithole country. You tried to call other countries shithole countries. No, we're living in the shithole country. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, Tabitha. That pretty much sums it up. We are living in a shithole country. You know, of course, we have to think about the fact that in the great state of Texas tomorrow, oh yes, tomorrow, they're going to have the NRA have a whole conference and shindig down to the great city of Houston, Texas tomorrow. Oh, do I also need to tell you what else is going on in the great state of Texas? Oh, I forgot to mention this story. I didn't want to pile on. I really didn't want to pile on. But should I mention the story where in the same state of Texas, governed by Governor Hot Wheels, in Texas, a class, that's right, a class in school was shown photos of AR-15s by deputies days after the shooting. Let me let you all know what's going on in the great state of Texas. The Texas deputies showed a group of students photos of AR-15s at an elementary school the day after 19 children and two teachers were killed at a school in Uvalde, Texas. A Tarrant County Sheriff's deputy was speaking with kids at a career day at Daggett Elementary School in Fort Worth on Wednesday. Oh, yes, that's the day after. When a student asked him what types of firearms his vest protected against, according to a statement from the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, the deputy then began pulling out images on Google of AR-15 rifles that were displayed on the overhead screen. The officer also used inner training spray to demonstrate how law enforcement utilizes pepper spray. Officers use the inner spray to practice self-defense techniques without accidentally harming themselves or others, according to the statement. Sheriff Wayburn now takes full responsibility for this incident and apologizes for the concern that has been caused by what happened. Really? Really? We strive to keep the public informed about the training our deputies go through, but recognize the presentation was not the best representation for the elementary school class. Y'all worried about CRT and kids learning what LGBTQ is in elementary, but have no problems introducing them to AR-15s in an elementary school class. Y'all are worried about teaching the real history of what America did to black people, right? In school. You're worried about even mentioning the word gay in an elementary school class. but have no problems. The day after elementary school kids were murdered by AR-15 style rifles, have no problems the day after introducing them to those rifles. Where are all the parents screaming from the rooftops at the school board meetings today after that? I don't see them screaming about that like they were about quote unquote CRT. Like they were quote unquote about, I don't want my third grader to learn what the word gay means. You're screaming from the rooftops at the school board buildings about that. No screaming about this. That's what we got going on. The principal of Daggett Elementary School, Kendall Miller, sent a statement to parents about the presentation, denouncing it as, quote, insensitive, not suitable, and not condoned, end quote. According to NBC, it's too late then. Trust me, Governor Hot Wheels condones it. You don't have to condone it. But I'm sure Governor Hot Wheel and his band of merry thugs condones it. A mess. A complete and utter mess. But no, you're gonna start to hear all about, oh, it's mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health, right? Because no other country, because we're the only country in the world that deals with mental health, right? No other country is having the problems with gun violence like we are. But you're screaming mental health because obviously we're what, the only country on the face of the globe dealing with mental health. I did not hear about the Diamond Program. I have to look that up. Wow, this is what we got going on. I did not hear about that. That is awful. That is horrible. This is what y'all got going on. This is what we have going on in these yet to be United States of America. I don't know what else y'all want me to do. I don't know what y'all want me to do. But this is what y'all got going on. And if you think there's going to be any end to it anytime in the near future, you're reaching. You're reaching. Just a mess. Just a complete and utter shit show. That's what we got going on. A shit show. A complete and utter shit show. A mess. When will it end? Hey, that's our show for today, people. I ain't got a whole lot of good stuff for you today, people. I'm sorry. I apologize. I ain't got a whole lot. But I do want to keep you informed. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Don't get weary in well doing. Don't get apathetic. It's not time to cower. It's not time to go sit in the corner and say, woe is me. It is time to take action. It is time to let our voices be heard. It is time for us to really get out there and start voting. Some of these people got to get out of there. I know there's a lot of people that watch me that live in the great state of Texas. Y'all got to do something about this. And not just the people living in Texas, because this is going to start. I'm not going to say going to start. This is happening everywhere. I didn't even have no palate cleanses today, Tracy. And I know that I'm not going to be able to do Silly Saturday because Saturday I have to go to a funeral. When I get back in town Sunday, so I may give you something Sunday afternoon, like Sunday afternoon, evening. I may be able to give you something, um, in lieu of Silly Saturday because I know I'm going to be out of town. I have a funeral to attend on Saturday, so and you know how funerals go. There's the whole, get ready for the funeral, go to the funeral, then there's the repast and all of that stuff after the funeral. So I got all that going on Saturday, and I'll be out of town, so Um, I'll be back Sunday morning, and I'll probably do something Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Yeah. Hey, let's make sure y'all get out and vote. Y'all, these something's got to give, and we have to start it. That's the thing. Something's got to give, and we can't wait for the politicians to do it because they're not going to. So since they're not going to, we will put them out of office. Anyway, I think I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm spent, and I need to go get something to eat. Anyway, y'all, listen, we about to get out of here. I would venture to tell you that, listen, stay vigilant, stay active, make sure you are watching. Even the Bible say, watch and pray. Don't just pray, but watch and pray. Oh, okay, you gonna be on your bike in Tapper side tomorrow? Okay, I'll be in Jacksonville tomorrow. I'll be in Jacksonville tomorrow. Leave in the morning. All right, y'all. Listen, I'm about to get out of here. Um, Once again, as I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. Listen, y'all are so good to me. Thank you for those people who gave donations and contributions and things like that to me when I was sick. I appreciate it. It went a long way. It got me. So post DoorDash and Uber Eats and help keep me from getting even more sick. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for that. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Let's really be starts in about what 30 minutes or so. So let's get ready for really being about 30 minutes or so. Y'all go get something to eat, shit, shower, shave, all that good stuff, and be ready for my sis. That's all I got. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.